Kia ora everyone. This video shows a little bit of our trip back to the UK over Christmas, and we went down to Southampton to see a whole bunch of really lovely Contessa 32s showed to us by George, the Solent Boat Butler. Check out his YouTube, it's very cool. And then back here in Aotearoa, back with Narissa K, continuing with the big project.
But this one here, Concerto, is my old boat. So I owned that one up until about 5 years ago, I sold it. So you can for my one.
Oh, no, you do.
Well, yeah, they look really
Yeah,
nice.
they do look
Engine in, so
Oh, right, yeah, so the engine must be on.
another engine job this one. But she's really nice inside. Really nice inside. So
I got to ask George all about the British build Contessa 32s, which was really interesting, and he was interested in my solo Trans-Tasman challenge. I also got to ask him about his solo adventures, and I picked up quite a few hot tips. So thank you, George. If you want some hot tips too, check out the Solent Boat Butler. I'll post the link in the description.
And this is everyone over here for
Happy Christmas!
a Northern Hemisphere Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Where's my plate to just serve?
I'm here for you.
And finally, we made it back to Aotearoa and to Nelson, back to Narissa K. Right, so we're back on Narissa. It's a beautiful day in Nelson, and even though we really wanted to go sailing today because it's been 6 weeks or so, we just had lots of jobs to do. So we got back, and when we left Narissa, which was about a month ago, we were halfway through lots of jobs. So we were getting the whole standing rigging replaced, we were adding a Solent stay and an inner stay, we were putting our new electronics in, getting AIS set up and various other jobs. But we had to fly back to the UK, and some of the jobs weren't quite finished, but luckily we've got people here that were finishing the jobs off, which was amazing. So we've come back and we've got to re-rig some of our running rigging, and the two big jobs, or the one big job I really wanted to get done today, was to try and figure out our Cape Horn, our self-steering. So our self-steering, our wind vane here is a Cape Horn model. It's the external servo pendulum. I think it's called the Joshua. Is it called the Joshua? And it's come off a Contessa 26 actually, and put onto Narissa Contessa 32. And the previous owners who did that job actually never got the Cape Horn to work, much to my dismay. However, the previous owner, he says that he got it working really well. So it's not been used for years, so we've just been setting it up, and it's the first time I've used one of these or tried to set it up. So we've just figured out how it all works. We've got our little vanes, we've got 2 vanes, and we've just figured everything out. Now we just really need to test it and make sure that we get our lines all in the right places, getting the right angles, and making sure that it can work. All the mechanics seem to be working, but we probably won't really know until we're out there sailing. So fingers crossed. We might try and sail tomorrow, maybe. The other great thing we did, we hoisted a couple of our smaller sails. I got a number 4 and a number 7, which is pretty much my storm jib. It's tiny. And I might have to replace that because I think your storm jibs over here to pass the test need to be orange and mine is in fact white. So that will be another expense if I have to replace it, which would be unfortunate because yeah, things are quite expensive. But it felt really good to hoist some sails on the new inner stay whilst keeping my furling Genoa. So really happy with that. Can't wait to test it out on the water and not just sitting on my pile mooring. So in my quarter berth there, this cupboard was just mostly used for spare motor parts. Got all my fancy AIS system in there. Thank you, Dave. I now have my radio down here. It used to be just up here, which meant it kind of blocked access a bit because it hung down. It's a bit of a mess in there, but it will be a berth. So we've moved it here, which is great. And this little fancy device.
Okay, so the hanks are like salt encrusted and they can't move in or out. They're just like stuck. So I've been trying to put them in a solution of hot water to dissolve the salt and free it up. Done a couple already. These ones here.
Okay, we are cruising out of Nelson Marina. There's so many cool boats to see. In fact, we just passed a really cool one. All my sails in here. We're coming out of Port Nelson against the tide. We're doing okay. We're still actually doing about 3 knots speed over ground.
Ready for it?
first time, and this is my number 4 up. Needs a little bit of adjusting and stuff, but first time straight out of the harbour, straight out of Port Nelson. Just wanted to get it up straight away, just see what it looks like. Hold on. This guy is honestly helping me so much. This is Al, for those of you who don't know. Kia ora, Al. He pretty much just does what I tell him to do. Sometimes I don't even tell him in a very nice way, but I always apologise afterwards. Do this, do that. Learn how to sail in a day, please, so you can help me. These meals are so good to have on the boat, backcountry cuisine. If you haven't, they're so good. They're super yum, they're super easy, and just taste like the best home cooked food. Like, I'm so into them. Here we are, sailing up Tasman Bay with the motor in neutral because we won't have much steerage with our little tiny head sail, but we're just practicing and hoisting sails.
Yeah.
All good, Alan?
All good.
Much wind out here?
Not much at all.
Some little ducklings getting towed out. It's pretty cute. And I think there's some more coming too. Look at these guys. And more in the background.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Ow.
Sorry.
I just got hit with a paddle.
How cool is that? I love the New Zealand bush.
I'm too scared to walk across this section.